And second part of that question, is there any learning or exchange of information that can happen between Ekiti State, Kaduna State, and other states to sort of shine the light in the right direction?
Okay, thanks. I mean, I think the first part, even in Ekiti, you know, coming to this decision wasn't easy. And I think Gerald...
Talk us through that. I'm very curious, honest. Talk us through that.
So for example, the guys in the Ministry of Lands were the ones who administered the right-of-way charge, right? And the first argument is, you know, if at 4,500 naira per meter, if we got this for 100 kilometers, you know, we're losing revenue. My view on the other side of the table, which was shared by the majority of decision makers, was certainly that this revenue wasn't coming anyway, because the cost in itself was prohibitive and no one was going to pay fiber. And that the benefit outweighed whatever this cost is in any event. Even if the cost was coming, the benefit of getting this platform and this infrastructure running was a lot better. So again, golden egg, or is this a channel for much bigger economic activity? Luckily, the argument that this is a channel for a much broader economic activity won debate. But it was also something that we had to bring colleagues on the table to understand. So it didn't happen in one session. It probably took about to get the parties in line. So I suspect that in other states, these conversations are starting to happen. Now, what is important is that the forerunners, Lagos, Ekiti, Kaduna, Katsina, Plateau, and Imo, must now show value to the other states. What I suspect is many states are watching and waiting, and are trying to see, look, what is the real benefit here? Now, there are some states where commercially they might not take the decision early. I don't hold brief for my former employers in Lagos, but Lagos has significant connectivity already, right? So, I mean, the pressure to drop these charges might not be as apparent until, of course, we start to see a migration of businesses from Lagos to some of the states who are taking the lead here. So ultimately, I think what convinces people is the result, is some sense that an outcome from this exercise is starting to happen. So my belief is that states like Kaduna, states like Imo will now support this policy proclamation with some of the that now brings the economic activity to those places. That's what we call around subnational collaboration. The form the principles. So you get, I mean, for example, the NGF, of course, COVID-19 has made them meet now weekly for the past 8 or 9 weeks. So there's always going to be knowledge sharing at that level. But I think that one thing that we can do some more is now to start creating knowledge sharing and peer learning sessions for subject matter experts, right? So maybe today it's broadband, tomorrow it's internally generated revenue, but some kind of forum that brings not the governors this time, but one down from the governors, people to come start engaging. We've started to do that in other areas. We haven't done as much in the technology space. And I think that that's a critical area that, you know, this conversation, in my opinion, has brought to the table for me. So one of the things I'll take back is obviously something that says, how do we get the governors to nominate people in their respective states to start to engage on what, in my view, is a really important topic. So just very quickly, I mean, I think, you know, one of the things about not wasting a crisis is that states have significant revenue shortfalls today. And those revenue shortfalls will force governments to think about being enablers a lot better. So states are not in a position where they can, you know, can almost decree to businesses. So this is a competition, this is a beauty pageant. And I believe very strongly that in the next few months, we are going to see a lot more states jump on this bandwagon. And especially if one of the 4 or 5 states makes one big announcement, every other person is going to jump on the bandwagon. So I'm fairly confident that by the end of this year, from a right-of-way perspective, many of the states are going to have adjusted. Last point I'll make is there are also regional conversations being had, where, for example, in the Southwest Governors Forum are starting to have a conversation about how do we do this across the Southwest. So Ondo should do the same thing, Osun should do the same thing, so that if you are dropping stuff across two or three states, so the collaboration starts to help the state. So it's something that perhaps you can also take back to the South and Southeast governments as an opportunity to see some regional integration and growth. Thanks.